So if we see the current status of the waste generation in India, the total waste generation is nearly 65 million tons annually. Out of the 62 million ton is the municipal solid waste. It means that daily India is generating nearly 1,60,000 tons of municipal solid waste. And the local authority is responsible to manage this waste. Only 75 to 80% of this waste is getting collected, and 25 to 30% is getting processed, or we are processing and making various products out of it. So the remaining municipal solid waste is deposited at the landfill or the yards. And it is estimated that since till 2031, we will reach up to the 165 million tons annually in terms of waste, and up to 400 million tons till 2050. So this waste collection, we need to increase our waste collection efficiency, which is currently also good. But as the population is increasing, waste generation is increasing, we need to increase our efficiency in terms of collection. Here I have divided my presentation into basically three main topics. First of all, I will focus on the integrated solid waste management. What is the procedure in our country as well as worldwide for the solid waste management. Secondly, what are the legal and regulatory framework in our country, and the cities based practices they are following for the municipal solid waste. So basically the waste here I am giving just definitions which are important as far as our presentation is concerned. Waste, which is an unwanted material, but nowadays nothing is waste. We need to have this circularity and reuse concept in our day-to-day life. Waste management is basically the process in which we are dealing with the waste processes from generation to the final disposal of the waste. And solid waste is a waste which is generating from the human as well as the animal activities, and it is discarded as an unwanted material. So basically solid waste management is a challenge all over the country as well as in India also, and it includes the processes starting from the home storage to the disposal of the waste in landfill sites. So basically the main problem is the mismanagement of this solid waste, because we as a public we are aware, but we don't want to put it into practice that let's use dustbin or let's segregate the waste. So there is a huge amount of mismanagement right now in our country as far as the waste is concerned. But this waste management is a problem when you must have heard about this fire in the landfills, and there are so many issues related to the material disposal on the roads and otherwhere. So mismanagement of waste is a main problem. And when the waste is not recycled, it ends up into the landfill, where we can see that there are lots of open dump sites in major cities of the India. So the main reason are the inadequate collection and transportation of the waste. There is ineffective regulation or the policy implementation, and there is some amount of lacking of the public awareness and participation basically in the waste management. But we all know that since last 10 years, the Swachh Bharat mission has launched, and we have solved this problem up to some extent as far as the collection is concerned. So if we see the current status of the waste generation in India, the total waste generation is nearly 65 million tons annually. Out of the 62 million ton is the municipal solid waste. It means that daily India is generating nearly 1,60,000 tons of municipal solid waste, and the local authority is responsible to manage this waste. Only 75 to 80% of this waste is getting collected, and 25 to 30% is getting processed, or we are processing and making various products out of it. So the remaining municipal solid waste is deposited at the landfill or the yards. And it is estimated that since till 2031, we will reach up to the 165 million tons annually in terms of waste, and up to 400 million tons till 2050. So this waste collection, we need to increase our waste collection efficiency, which is currently also good. But as the population is increasing, waste generation is increasing, we need to increase our efficiency in terms of collection. Currently, it is around 70 to 90% in major metro cities, and around 40 to 50% in the smaller city or class 1 and 2 tier cities. Now, if we see the composition and the classification of solid waste, so basically solid waste is classified into 8 to 9 categories like municipal solid waste, hazardous waste, commercial waste, agricultural waste, biomedical waste, plastic waste, e-waste, CND waste. So these are the main waste categories or the classification. And if we see the composition of municipal solid waste in the country, 55 to 60% is the organic content and 30 to 40% is recyclable and remaining is the inert waste around 7 to 10%. So if we see the functional elements of the solid waste management system, it starts from our home, like from the generation. It is collected by the local authority. We are storing in it our home in different bins, say segregated waste. It is being collected by the authority, then transferred and transferred to its ultimate, say either recovery facility or it may go up to the recovery site or anywhere, and then ultimately processing and disposal. So this is the main functional elements of any waste management system. And as far as the municipal solid waste is concerned, we are following integrated solid waste management system in our country, or we can say that anyone should follow this hierarchy of waste management. Say it starts with it includes reuse, recycle, and reduce component or the approach. So we should go for it, and most preferably at source reduction and segregation is the first step towards it. After recycling and reuse at our level, we should so that collection amount of waste collected will get reduced, and then we should at the home itself we should find out the option for the processing waste like home waste composting or anything related to the processing of the waste. So basically, it is an approach which is related to the waste management. So waste to energy and composting are the processing options, and landfilling is the ultimate option. So integrated solid waste management is basically the collection and segregation and processing of waste from all the stakeholders by including all the stakeholders in the various processes. So if we go the step by step, first step is the waste generation and storage and segregation. So in our country right now, we are segregating the waste currently into 4 different streams: wet waste, dry waste, sanitary waste, and e-waste. It is basically the concept is to segregate the waste into this 4 category from the point of generation itself, and we need to store it till the collection vehicle comes from the local authority and collect it separately. Now the segregated collection and transportation is the second step. So this is second and most important step as far as the municipal solid waste is concerned, because most of the budget of any local authority goes into this activity: collection of the waste and transportation it to its ultimate friend. Here we are talking about 2 types of collection. There is a primary collection and secondary collection. Primary collection is related to two-door collection system from all the household and commercial units. And secondary collection is the collection of waste from the either material recovery facility or any intermediate point of its last disposal point. So this is primary and secondary 2 type of collection system are there in our country right now. And then from the collection it goes or transfer to the transfer station. Transfer station are also acting like a material recovery facility where waste is again getting sorted in various categories. Compaction is also there, and we are segregating the waste into various recyclable and non-recyclable categories. Then it is again transporting it to the either disposal site or any other treatment facility where it's ultimately. So here in material recovery facility, we are sorting all the recyclable like paper, plastic and all that, and it goes to the recyclable market, and ultimately inert waste is going to this side, while organic waste is going to the composting or any other treatment option facility. So now we come to the technical, or we can say the most important part in terms of municipal solid waste management is the processing, where we are lacking right now. There are so many factors while we are lacking in this processing of municipal solid waste, but the main processes which are involved in the treatment of municipal solid waste are composting, waste to energy, incineration, biomethanation, and RDF are comes under waste to energy. So biodegradable portion is getting into the composting and waste to fraction. So basically, when we are selecting any processing option, we should go. There are various factors we need to check, like local condition, the technology should be proven, it can be replicated, and it should be validated by the any pollution control code. So the processing is the method to manage and reduce the waste, and the main aim is to recover the resources out of it. We go into this processing one by one. So first of all, composting. We all know that composting basically is a biological digestion process where the biodegradable waste we are keeping it in a pile, or we can say that we can store it in any container, and we can have this composting at our home also. All the biodegradable waste can be converted into compost within 1 week to 15-20 days. So it includes home composting, bean composting. We can go for the vermicomposting also, in-vessel composting. All the treatment processes are having the same method with a different duration and addition of the catalyst and all that. So it includes the composting from at centralized, decentralized. Depending upon the local condition and the waste generation quantity, we can go for the option of composting. And the compost which is getting now prepared after 15-20 days, it should meet the fertilizer control order norms, which is there are norms for the city compost in our country prepared by the FCO, and our compost should follow these norms, or we should meet these norms for the further utilization. And this market for this known city compost should also be there for the selling for any local authority. And this compost can be used as a plant nutrient. It can be utilized as a soil enricher, and it is used for the recovery of the poor soils. Next option is from the out of recyclable is the waste to energy. So basically, when the material is not recoverable or composting is not possible from it, we can go for the option of waste to energy, and it can be only opted when the value of the combined waste is more than say 1700 kilocalorie or more than 2000. Then only we can go for this waste to energy options. It includes both thermal options as well as the biological option. In thermal option, we have different processes like incineration, pyrolysis, gasification, diffuse derived fuel. All these processes are related to the thermal conversion of the waste into energy. Then there are biological options like anaerobic digestion and composting and biogas generation. And ultimately, the goal is to generate electricity out of it, and we can get the energy, electricity or the biogas. Even landfilling is an option where we can generate electricity by collecting the methane and convert it into the electricity through gas engine. And this sale of this energy can result into the financial viability of the project for the local authority. And if the tariff is not possible to get the local authority is not able to collect the tariff through this option, they can provide the tipping fee to the contractor also who are working for the waste to energy projects. So basically in our country, all these waste to energy projects are on PPP mode right now. So third party or the private agency is doing their investment, and local authority is giving them the tipping fee or any other kind of options. There are so many options for the payment back for the investment. So in waste to energy, let's say incineration. Incineration is a process where waste, it's a combustion process where the waste is combusted at very high temperature in the presence of oxygen. And the product out of this incineration are ash, flue gas and heat. So this heat can be used to generate the electricity. By collecting heat, we can generate the electricity. It is basically visible for the unprocessed waste and segregated fraction of the high calorific value waste. We can generate around 65 to 80% energy can be recovered through this process, and it can be utilized for any thermal applications. So incineration is an option to be considered only after implementing the suitable material recycling and recovery system. Where other options are available, we are not opting for the incineration first. Basically, other better option of processing are like recovery or the recycling of plastic and other waste. We all know that plastic is the main component in the municipal solid waste, through which we can have a more calorific value in the combined waste. So if up to the extent where it is possible to recycle or remove it from the mainstream, we should remove the plastic from it, and then the waste for the any other waste to energy. After incineration is a thermal option. Now biomethanation is the biological degradation, in which the biodegradable component of the waste is digested in any vessel in the absence of oxygen. So it is basically anaerobic digestion, through which we are generating the biogas, which is the composition of biogas is like it contains CO2, methane, ammonia, and water, and other components. So after cleaning this biogas, and we can enrich the methane content 90% or 95%, and we can utilize methane in other applications. Means the quality of the methane will now be like CNG. So it can be utilized for CNG as a fuel in various applications. Or directly biogas can be utilized to generate electricity, as well as it can be utilized directly as a fuel for the other application. So biomethanation is also very important process as far as India is concerned, because our local conditions or atmospheric conditions are also, because most of the there is a proper heat available. So all the biodegradable waste can be converted into gas or electricity through this option. So biomethanation is the best option as far as the biodegradable waste in our country is concerned. And there are so many examples in our country right now where local authorities are generating many resources out of this. Next one is the refuse derived fuel. It is a fuel which is derived from the combustible fraction of the solid waste after non-combustible material like glass and metals and others are removed from it. So this process basically includes the shredding of, first of all, the shredding. After separation, there is a shredding, sorting, and sometimes the compacting the waste and converting. It can be utilized either in a loose form or in a compact form, like by converting it into the pellets form. And this RDF can be utilized as a fuel to generate steam and ultimately the electricity generation in boilers, or it can be utilized in terms of in place of coal also in the boilers. So the composition of RDF is a mixture that higher concentration of combustible material and which is present in the parent municipal solid waste mix. So it can be compacted, segregated, compacted and converted into pellets, which can be utilized for the further heating application. Ultimately, if now the biodegradable portion is getting utilized through composting and biomethanation, and a recyclable portion getting into the recycling, and other combustible goes into the incineration and say other processes like RDF and another. Now the remaining portion or the inert waste, the waste which is we cannot convert it into thermally or biologically into any useful form, will go into the landfill. So landfills are basically 2-3 types. Like one is open dumping, where people are throwing the waste as it is. Then there is a common landfill. There is a sanitary landfill is basically utilized for the municipal solid waste, where it is engineered design facility where all kind of proper liners have been placed at the bottom, and the waste is getting dumped on the everyday, and it can be covered with the topsoil or the basic soil, and there is a height of, it is designed for basically 20 to 25 years, and these are the various component of the any landfill. Like at the bottom there is a liner system there, proper drainage collection system there to collect the leachate collection system is provided. Then there is a road and gas collection system is also, venting system is provided. Groundwater pollution control measures should be there. Air pollution control measures should be provided. So this is a sanitary landfill which is designed properly and provided with all kind of measures to reduce the environmental pollution. So basically, Solid Waste Management Rules 2016 provides the comprehensive regulation for the siting, design, and operation of the sanitary. There are criteria for all the stages of the landfill. So, which kind of waste is suitable for the landfill? First is non-biodegradable, which is non-biodegradable by nature and through means after treatment. If it is of no use, it can goes to the landfill side. Then if there is a mixed waste, we cannot remove recyclable and biodegradable separate from the waste. Ultimately, it goes into the landfill. Then pre-processed and post-processed rejects from the various processes goes to the landfill, and non-hazardous waste, which is of no value to recycle, can go into the sanitary. Now this benchmark, solid waste management, actually in our country, the CAG has defined benchmarks for all kind of municipal services. So as far as solid waste management is concerned, these are the 9 important parameters or the benchmark which every municipal authority needs to follow. First of all, there should be 100% household level coverage of the solid waste management services like collection, treatment, transportation. All services are provided with benchmark. Say collection and segregation up to 100%. Then there is a recovery of from this collected waste up to 80% should be recovered. Only 20% should go to the landfill site. Then scientific disposal of the municipal solid waste should be up to 100%. Efficiency in redressal of consumer complaints. So any municipal local authority should have a complaint redressal system which is 100% efficient, and all the operations are also very smooth in that case. Then extent of cost recovery in solid waste management services. This is a very difficult to attain. This 100% is very difficult for any local authority, because in our country we don't have separate charge or user charge for solid waste. Authority is collecting water charges from us, but solid waste management charges are either very less or negligible. It is not sufficient to provide any proper management system. So every local authority should define the charges according to their management expenditure. Then there is the efficiency in the collection of these charges. Charges are defined, but many times we cannot recover it properly as a property tax. Only 60 to 70% people are paying. Likewise, this SWM charges also many people are. Sometimes it is not in the bylaws, and if it is in the bylaws, not recovered. So it should be. Goal should be that 90% of charges should be collected from the people. So this service level benchmark, we can say that these are the defined benchmark, but in terms of we are nearer to only for the collection and transportation, we are only nearer to 100%, say like 80-90%. But as far as this charges collection and recovery reuse is concerned, we have reached only up to the 30% or 40%. So we need to work more on these aspects. Now as far as the management is concerned, I have told you that collection, segregation, transportation and processing are the 4 or 5 major steps as the municipal solid waste management is concerned. Now the regulatory framework which is existing in our country, the most important is the municipal solid waste management rules. Initially, the rules were defined in the 2000, and in 2016 it is revised by including more component into it, like urban local bodies. They need to prepare now. Every local body should have their municipal solid waste management plan and bylaws in place, as well as there is a separate waste rules for the C&D waste. So in rules 2016, all the stakeholders getting defined and their duties are also getting defined. Separate waste categories defined in the MSW rules 2016. After 2016 MSW rules, MOUD has also prepared one manual which is related to which provides a guideline for all aspects of the municipal solid waste management, including segregation up to 2000. And most important step in this area is the Swachh Bharat Mission campaign, which has been started in the 2014, and it also covers the common services like toilets, community toilets, public toilets, or the common waste management facility also. Basically, it also includes the public awareness component very well in Swachh Bharat Mission. And the emphasis has been placed on the IC activity under Swachh Bharat Mission. There are so many components of SBM, we will see in the later. The National Urban Sanitation Policy has been also prepared by the MOUD, Urban Development Department, which considers all these aspects of like open defecation and sanitation facility in the cities. So all this is related to how we can manage liquid waste also along with the solid waste has been defined in sanitation policy. And there are separate rules for different kinds of waste category like plastic waste management rules, biomedical waste management rules, e-waste management rules, battery waste management rules, plastic waste management rules. All these waste management rules comes after this Swachh Bharat and MSW rules 2016, and now again we are getting amending. Now our government is amending all these rules. So now 2023-24 version of all these rules are also available, in which the other conditions have been added for the main rules. If we see the salient features of this municipal solid waste management rules 2016, there are 3 or 4 main important features. First of all, it includes all the area. I mean, it has covered all the areas from where there is a possibility of waste generation. It is not only confined to the local body, but it also includes notified areas and airport authority, ports authority, defense establishment, special economic zone, and places of pilgrims, religious places, and every domestic institution and commercial and residential facility which are generating the waste is covered under this MSW 2016. And the categories of waste generation is also very categorically defined, like every household is responsible to follow this. Say event organizers also, street vendors also, there is a informal sector and RWA associations are also, they are also waste generators, every commercial facility. So the hotels, and there are different kind of waste generators have been defined in the rules. Now the duties which are defined, I have listed down the most important one. So first of all, every waste generator says segregate the waste, which is the most important step as far as the management is concerned. Then there is a central monitoring committee which monitor this condition of the implementation implementation of rules every year. Then there is a national policy framework by the MOUD and technical guidelines are there. So training has been provided to local bodies for the implementation of rules as well as the guidelines. Then Department of Fertilizers and Chemical, their duty is to assist the market development for the use of the city compost and other products which are getting generated out of processing of the solid waste. Then Ministry of Agriculture is there to promote the utilization of the compost and other issues. Ministry of Power is involved for the fixing the tariff out of waste to energy generation option. Then MNRE is involved, which is basically facilitate the infrastructure related to the waste to energy facility. Then district collector and magistrate are also given responsibility of identifying the landfill site and quarterly review the performance of local body in terms of the municipal solid waste management. Then see, pollution control boards are there either at a central level or state level to prepare the to monitor this implementation and prepare annual reports, formulation of standard. Any new technologies are there, then to prepare the guidelines for it, and interstate activities can be monitored by them. Then local authorities are definitely there for the implementation and preparation of solid waste management plan and its implementation. Manufacturer owners of the are there for the different activities like programs for their products, reducing packaging material of every product and all that. Then industries are there. Their role is to utilize the options which are generated through waste to energy like another. And industries like cement, power plants and other industries which are utilizing boiler, they are responsible to see the new fuel like whether there is a possibility to utilize in their special sector or not. So this kind of various duties have been assigned to various category of the stakeholder in MSW 2016. There is a separate criteria for the hilly region also where there is a problem of this infrastructure and the collection mechanism. And waste to energy plant, there is a separate provision in 2016 for waste to energy plant where this calorific value has been defined, that if the waste is having calorific value more than 1500, then we can go for co-incineration in the cement power plant by converting the waste into for any other fuel. And implementation timeline has been defined. Say any local authority should prepare the landfill in 1 year. They should have a waste processing facility within the 2 years of the publication of the source. So these are the important timelines for the implementation of this. Now municipal bylaws. So bylaws is the main thing which any local authority can. It is a main regulatory framework which any local authority can follow for the implementation of the municipal solid waste management plan. So it is basically encompassing all the aspect of the management from the generation to the disposal, and it includes the penalization of the violators. So basically in 2016 rules, it has been mandated that every local authority should frame these bylaws, which includes various kind of duties and duties in terms of data as well as for the local authority. So these bylaws are very important tool for the local authority to implement this management plan. Bylaws mandate the establishment of the effective collection and transportation services in the cities. It encourages the community participation in various processes. It empowers the local government to impose the penalties and violations for non-compliance. Then it also promotes the 3R concept, reduce, reuse, recycle. It includes the provisions against the littering and burning of the waste. It also provides the provisions for the collecting user fee from the generators and incentives for the recycling to the local community. Now the important mission in our country is Swachh Bharat mission, which has been started since 2014. And the tagline basically, the Ek Kadam Swachhta Ki is the main aim to keep this tagline is to make the people aware or sensitize about the issue related to the Swachhta or the solid waste management. It covers all the urban and rural areas of the India, and Ministry of Urban and Housing Affairs is the main authority which is monitoring both the part as well as the urban part. And Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation and Jal Shakti Mantralaya also now added into this as Water Plus and other component of Swachh Bharat mission get. So key thrust areas of this mission are elimination of the open defecation from the cities, then eradication of the manual scavenging as far as this machine hall cleaning and other activities are concerned, then scientific and modern ways of the municipal solid waste management, then behavior change for the sanitary practices, awareness generation about sanitation and its linkages with the public health, then capacity augmentation of urban local bodies to create environment for the private sector participation into this, then classification of various waste management processes and its proper implementation into this. Now, as we see that along with the domestic waste, there are other categories also in the municipal solid waste which need to be treated separately and need to be collected, reused and treated separately. So these special waste are basically the domestic hazardous waste. It comprises of solid waste or a combination of solid waste that requires special handling and disposal because of its quantity or either its concentration or physical or chemical characteristics or its properties need the separate management. These waste are like plastic waste, biomedical waste, slaughterhouse waste, electronic waste, tires and batteries waste. So these special waste are also generated in our household activities only. So it is a part of the mixed municipal solid waste component. And there are special rules has been formed by the government to manage this waste.